All right. Welcome back to the channel. Eddie Hearns is making an offer to Deontay Wilder for 50-50 with a fight with Anthony Joshua. Man, how the world has changed, but yet how it stays the same. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe, hit the bell icon, and thank you to everybody that has joined the channel, everybody that joins and supports on the Patreon. Truly, guys, truly appreciate you guys. Also, thank you to everybody that comes through the live streams Monday through Friday and Saturday for OG Boxing Talk, 8 a.m. Sunday with a panel of boxing fans and experts where we wrap up the week in boxing. Well, let's talk about this Eddie Hearn making a 50-50 offer for Deontay Wilder. Man, I can't let go of the subject. I can't let go of the subject, man, because it really is just like truly the petty in me that just has me thinking, man, I remember when these guys were so high on the hog. They ruled the world. Deontay Wilder hadn't done anything to deserve a fight with Anthony Joshua. Why, look what it took him 40 fights to win, 40 fights to get on a level that isn't anywhere near Anthony Joshua's. Anthony Joshua is the biggest star in boxing. $15 million, $12 million flat fees for $100 million fights, all kind of hoopla and nonsense going around pretty much to avoid the fight with Deontay Wilder, but at the same time using this self-generated perception that Deontay Wilder was not known and nobody cared about him in the United States, all of that stuff. And now, just a short 24 months later, you have it not quite flip all the way around, but in my mind, tilt significantly towards Deontay Wilder in the advantage over Anthony Joshua. So when Eddie Hearn said that he would give him 50-50, first thing Deontay Wilder, I'll talk about what Deontay Wilder said, which is a great observation, which is that Eddie Hearn always has something to say about an Anthony Joshua fight when Deontay Wilder is going into a fight. And so he's going into the fight with Tyson Fury in what should be most likely the biggest heavyweight fight since since Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis. It's probably the biggest heavyweight fight since that point in time. Now, if that's true, that tells you that it is a bigger fight than any fight Anthony Joshua has ever had. And it shows because in Vegas, several weeks, pretty much right when the tickets went on sale, most of the tickets were gone. And they're being sold at prices of, at the lowest price is like $1,000. You've got tickets for $3,000 and $4,000 available in the lower sections, and those tickets seem to be flying. You also have a lot of promotion going on for it, both on Fox, the two major sports networks in the United States, which is Fox, where Deontay Wilder is fighting, and the PBC holds their fights, and ESPN, where Top Rank holds their fight. I was watching the college championship football game, and I saw the advertisement for Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, excuse me. Let me get that right. For that game, and that is one of the biggest watched shows, sporting events of the year, and for one of the most popular sports of the year, college football. In the United States, that being college football. So this fight is looking like it's going to be very, very big. I'm not going to guess how many pay-per-views it is really, because I think we're kind of in uncharted territory. But I think it's safe to assume that it's going to be north of 700,000 pay-per-views. It could be over 1 million. I don't believe that I don't necessarily believe that what Bob Arum is saying about 2 million. I think that is a little bit of a stretch, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if the media, which is employed by Bob Arum, came out and said it was 2 million. If Bob says it's 2 million, it must be 2 million. And in fact, I find it interesting that since Bob Arum's been involved in this promotion, that there's been almost no negativity about it out of your usual mainstream media suspects. They seem to be almost completely quiet on it. Not talking about how it's going to flop and how the ticket sales or questioning ticket sales or any of that. But anyway, I digress. Back on to Anthony Joshua. The size of this fight is telling you this. If this is the biggest fight that has happened, if this winds up being the biggest fight that has happened since Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, then why would Anthony Joshua get 50%? Just wondering, man. Anthony Joshua's numbers ain't popping like Anthony Joshua's numbers used to pop. They used to have this 1.2. They said that Andy Ruiz had broken the pay-per-view record in the UK. Remember that? Like a day after the fight, they came out and said that as if somebody could really count that fast. But or if they typically count that fast. Well, we know that Barb, which is basically the Nielsen ratings of the UK. One day I will memorize what the acronym Barb stands for. Regardless, they report the numbers for fights. They report the numbers for viewership on television in the UK, and they had come up with an estimate for the pay-per-view numbers that took place for Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz, which the fight that was in Saudi Arabia, and it said 1.2 million. 1.2 million. Didn't say 1.6 million. Said 1.2 million. So in a comeback fight for Anthony Joshua, one which was make it or break it for him, right? After an excellent, very, very exciting fight the first time, and should be a lot of anticipation leading into the rematch. It did less than what was rumored to have happened for Joseph Parker in a unification fight, and far less than what it did 20% less or 25% less than his coronation fight against Vladimir Klitschko. So it seems as if Anthony Joshua's a little bit in a decline, and his era of invincibility is no longer there. Definitely not in the biggest market where it matters, which is in the United States. And for all my naysayers, you guys can naysay no longer. You guys know the difference in price of a $75 pay-per-view and a $25 pay-per-view. Okay, you paying more money over here. You want more people to watch where the price is higher. So anyway, I just think that, it's interesting that if you believe that Eddie Hearn is telling the truth about 50-50, right? I think that's kind of funny because I don't really know, and here's me being petty, I don't really know if Anthony Joshua deserves that anymore. Deontay Wilder gets past Tyson Fury. Deontay Wilder is the number one heavyweight, period, flat out, no doubt. Now, that's not going to be an easy task with Tyson Fury, because Tyson Fury might feint and jab himself to a win. I got another video coming up about what Evander Holyfield said about that. But, there's a lot of posturing that goes on with Tyson Fury, and, raising his hands at the end of the round, sticking his tongue out, crap like that, trying to stall out the fight as long as possible to prevent any real fighting from happening. That could take place, and hey, man, who knows? But if that's the case, there's a rematch with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, and hey, man, that goes out the window too. What I really think is happening here is that it's just a simple case of the great clout chase. That's what I think that is, because there's no real buzz around Anthony Joshua in his next fight. Who is Anthony Joshua fighting next? Nobody cares. If it's not, I won't say nobody cares. I'm sure he cares. His trainer cares, right? Eddie Hearn cares. But there's no big fight coming up for Anthony Joshua. There's no mega event taking place for Anthony Joshua coming up. My understanding is that somebody said that they were negotiating the Pulev fight to take place in Bulgaria. Now, I don't believe that, but I have a hard time believing that there's a lot of interest anywhere for Anthony Joshua versus Kubrat Pulev. Or is there going to be some amazing amount of interest and excitement for Anthony Joshua versus Alexander Usyk? The biggest fight the guy could probably make would be a rematch in the UK with Dillian White. And, none of those really register as big super fights. Anthony Joshua, in order to make another big fight, needs Deontay Wilder. And quite honestly, he needs Deontay Wilder more than Deontay Wilder needs him, because Deontay Wilder has been his thing has been going on the rise. His thing has risen and risen and risen. His reputation and his aura have risen without Anthony Joshua, by betting on himself, going his own way, doing his own thing, and it is what it is. So, but at the end of it, man, I really just think it's a way to keep Anthony Joshua's name relevant and try to sell those other fights that Anthony Joshua is going to have on, again, trying to build up, rebuild that anticipation of a fight between he and Deontay Wilder. But, I think that's all there really is to that. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.